Welcome to Crappens. Don't wait a week for a new video. Join our Patreon at the Crappens On Demand level for instant recap access. Link in description. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to Watch for Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the one and only Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Well, hi, little Ben. How are you today, little city slicker?
Yeah, I'm a city slicker today. I'm broadcasting live from New York City. Those who watch on Crappens On Demand can see sort of a building behind me. It's actually a beautiful scene, but of course the light is blowing it all out, so you can only see sort of like the makings of one little facade right there. But yeah, I'm here in New York. Hopefully my audio does not sound too janky. I apologize ahead of time, but you know, I've got my travel kit going on. What's going on with you, Ronnie?
Well, I cut myself shaving the other day. So
No.
I do not have a big whatever this is on my upper lip under my nose, just in case people are distracted. That's what it was. You know what? Sometimes I groom, okay? And I did Friday, and now look what happens. This is why I only do it every once in a while. I just get too excited, guys. Too excited while I'm shaving, okay? I try and get every little spot. Do you ever shave where you just do this with the razor? You go up and down really fast like you're scrubbing?
With a razor, well, like a what type of razor? Like electric one?
One of those 500 blade ones where it's like, we've got 97 blades on this razor. And you're like,
but like it's like a manual or like a electric one?
manual.
Oh my goodness, no. I've never scrubbed with like
it can go like this, and it's, I don't know.
I'll do like a little.
I just went sideways on accident. Don't
I usually go
sideways.
Like I never go up and down like that. I can do like several down.
No, I go up and down.
You go up and down. You're tough.
I'm not great at it. But anyway, so that's that. What else happened? It's Monday. So it's huge news. I mean, actually, we should probably not talk about our lame stuff and talk about what's actually going on Bravo.
Shaving
That's
techniques.
what this podcast is about. But we do have stuff coming up. European tour, London, Birmingham, Dublin in May. Also, we're going to be in LA in May for a little intimate show. For the Netflix Comedy Festival, which will be fun. Go get tickets for all that stuff at watchwhatcrappens.com. Also, this is a video as usual on Patreon, and we have a bonus episode coming up this week, which is going to be super fun. The last one was Top Chef, so we talked about the new season a little bit. So go check that out on our Patreon. Thanks for being here. We love you guys. Big news today in Potomac land. They're shaking it up over there. Candace Dillard Bassett exits Real Housewives of Potomac after 6 seasons. I'm filled with gratitude, she says.
Yeah, I could see
She
that one
also
coming.
says, this is not a farewell, but a see you later. No, goodbye. Everybody stop with this. I'm coming back. Stop it. That's not how you leave a job. Here's how you leave a job. Fuck you. Fuck you. Never liked your stupid ass, and I know it was you eating my shit out of the fucking refrigerator in the office, too. I know it was you. That's how you
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah, that is, and it feels like that's something Candace would be capable of doing. But I'm not surprised, you know, something had to give between Candace and Giselle. And on top of that, I felt like Candace was a bit checked out this season. I think that she is really focused on her music career. You could just sort of tell. And so this is not surprising. And I think it's probably for the best, probably best for her mental health, because I think being around these women was probably like draining her, and you know, God bless.
Here's the thing. I think that's all very nice what you just said. Lovely sentiments.
Thank you.
Here's what I've seen.
I don't know why I'm
Being
acting
off
like she
these
left my
shows-
workplace. You know, like that's the sort of thing you say to someone who lives in your workplace. I don't know why I was giving her.
You are really HRing it right now. You're like, you know
am.
what? This is best for you, Candace. You're like being a Captain Carey right now. Like, I'm only doing this for your own good. Concentrate on your music. Adventure.
Not the right job at the right time.
I think that's all lovely. We've known a lot of housewives now, right? Over the years, you know, we just meet so-and-so and Whoosy Flace and Flarty Fleur. And we've known them when they're on the Housewives, then we know them when they're off the Housewives. And being off the Housewives has not improved anybody's mental health. I'll tell you that right now. They are still fucking crazy. And I think almost crazier because they are still holding on to it and they're still getting mad about stuff they're reading on Twitter. Like, I think once you're in it, there's no escaping it, right? And I don't know that it's going to help her mental health. I do like that she's wording this all as if she wasn't fired. Do you think she wasn't
Right.
fired? Because I
don't
can't
know.
tell.
Someone told me in the industry, I forget who said it. We'll
Was
just
it
say
an
queen at a
old
bar.
queen in a bar?
It was an old queen in a bar said anytime a Real Housewife says that she is leaving the show or quitting, they're usually fired. And
That was
there's
Bethany.
and Bravo
Well,
left them
Bethany
safe
said
face.
that. Is that your friend in the industry? Bethany
What'd you say?
Frankel? Bethany Frankel is your friend in the industry.
Yeah, it's Bethany Frankel. But
I'm
in
the
this
only one who
case,
quit. I'm the only one who legit quit. Everybody else was fired. Only me. I said I quit. You've never heard those words out of another housewife except me. Okay? Look at me. I'm eating this. I'm eating this Vaseline intensive care right now. Delicious. I eat. God.
wait, where was? I was watching Bethany on her Instagram, and she went into like a luggage store. She's like, "Look at all this luggage. Look at this. This is a bag. Look at this bag. It's like a carry-on. It goes in the airplane. Look at this one. This is even bigger. Look at this. This fits everything. Look at this. Look at luggage these days." Wait, hold on 1 second. Tom, can you do me a favor? Can you bring me my big headphones? Thank you. On the bed.
Ben's on a headphone journey today.
Honestly, these headphones are not cutting it. They're so quiet. I'm going to try the big ones again. I think that maybe I didn't plug them in all the way before because this is like Ronnie, you were so quiet right now to me.
You know what? Take the vacation. That's what I say. You're finally in a place where I'm not yelling your fucking head off. I would say thank the Lord and just roll with it, you know?
Well, listen, go on a monologue right now because I'm going to switch out my headphones. So you talk.
All right, seriously? You know what? Do people still buy luggage without wheels on it? Like, this is nuts. This is actually insane. I wanted to try this luggage, but I'm not going to take it off this. I'm not going to take it off of the counter. Is there anybody who can get this luggage down for me? All right, could you carry it for me if I hire you in the airport? That's funny. That's a joke. Why aren't you laughing? Why don't people laugh? Seriously though. But where the rollers? Okay, I need rollers here. Also, I know you're probably too poor to go on a Southwest or whatever planes you guys use. Okay, what do you put? Lady who works here at the TJ Maxx, what do you put your luggage in, your clothes in when you travel on the bus? Do you just put a trash bag? Can I assume it's a trash bag? It's probably a trash bag. It's probably a dollar store trash bag, which is why it breaks and clothes fall over all over the sidewalk. Am I right? I'm right. That's how poor people are. You know what I mean?
I have no idea what you just. The big ones are not working. I'm so sad. I just have to have a quiet headphones today. But I don't know what you just monologued about, but I really enjoyed watching you monologue on my end.
Nothing.
Okay.
So, so we don't know if Candace was fired or if she quit. She's wording it like, well, I'm going to come back, which, I mean, I don't know if you're fired. Do people, I think Bravo just says that now to people because it seems they seem to really believe it and not do anything retaliatory once they're fired. Like Dorinda really still believes she's going to be on the cast of Real Housewives of New York again, you know?
Well, I think this allows Bravo to still have like a warm relationship with these people in case they want to use them on an Ultimate Girls Trip or, you know, Dorinda hosts a show on Radio Andy. So they find ways to repurpose them and also have them at BravoCon and everything. So Bravo, I think, does not want to burn bridges. Not that it matters too much since they all come back anyway, unless you've, you know, flame out fantastically like Brandi Glanville. But
I was going to say they might keep good relationships with them so they don't get sued by them since there's like an ever expanding brigade of lawsuits. Also, Candace is friends with Leah. At least she was on Girls Trip.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe she could jump on that bandwagon.
And Candace has often voiced what she believes are inequities in how she's treated on the show. And I would not be, she could be one of those who goes over to the reality reckoning side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She might join the Leah bandwagon. Now, not accusing her of anything. I don't know if she will. I'm just saying, you know, there's other options. There's other options for income. There's lawsuits. There's so many. There's Girls Trip. There's lawsuits. I mean, so many things going on.
There's such a world out beyond Real Housewives. But what a journey she had. I remember she came on, and her first season, she was just like this nice pageant girl whose biggest concern was that like she wasn't fitting in and she would try to talk and wasn't connecting with people and like why wouldn't people listen? And then the next year she came in and was like, okay, I'm gonna change my personality, because she had like one fight in her first season and it was really good. So her next season she came in as like okay, I'm going to now change my personality and I'm going to fight with everyone. And that is the Candace that we now know and love.
Well, love is a strong word. Love it.
The Candace we know and know.
Have loved now and then, you know, because that's the journey, isn't it, with anybody on TV? It's like sometimes you love, sometimes you don't. I think she's been okay. I think she's, like you said, checked out quite a bit. So bye. You know what? Anybody who is part of this season, I feel like if everybody got fired, I would understand. Except Mia. I think Mia's actually bringing things, especially today. Mia's cheating. She's fucking up her life. She's fucking up her relationship, probably her kids, and that's what we want on it.
Mia is a total disaster, and she did this crazy swan dive here at the end of the season into messiness.
It wasn't even a swan dive, was it? It was something. It was like somebody slowly dipping their pool into the mess, the life explosion. We watched it all season, and she admitted it was going on all season, and people are just like, "Oh, that's just Mia." No, I mean Mia was telling us the whole season exactly what her ass was up to.
Yeah,
we didn't listen. But there's other breaking news here, Ben.
What's that?
It's not just Candace. Robin has also announced.
Is it right now? That must have happened right now, huh?
It happened. Well, when I took the screenshot at 9:45 a.m., it had happened 16 minutes ago. Well, it had been posted on Best of Bravo 16 minutes before.
That's exactly when I had
posted
gone to
on the Jasmine brand. I just don't know.
The Jasmine brand, as featured on the Dr. Wendy show. You know, that's so interesting. I saw that Candace was leaving the show. I went downstairs to get some coffee. I came up here to set up my little station here, and that must have been during that time when I was distracted when this Robin news broke.
Yeah, so Robin's out. And other breaking news.
Oh my God, another breaking news?
This isn't breaking, but it's breaking the law news. Karen.
Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about this.
Karen, the Grand Dame, who is a fence, our favorite fence, got into a wreck and was telling everybody, oh, you know, someone swerved into her lane, whatever. Well, it turns out her ass was charged with DUI. And then, of course, in typical Karen fashion, they said she smelled like alcohol. She claimed one of the cops was wearing a shirt that said "Pay your taxes," so she should be able to see the police force. I'm just kidding. They said she smelled like alcohol. She refused a breathalyzer, which actually is good advice. I think that everybody should refuse. I think that that's what you're supposed to do, is refuse a breathalyzer. Unfortunately, she was charged with the DUI.
January Jones did.
And she, I know I'm just going on and on about droning on and on, but she refused a breathalyzer. And then then when she released a statement finally, she was like, well, you know, my mother passed away and we're very close to Mother's Day. No, ma'am. Gross. Not that your mother passed away. I mean, not sad. Gross of you to use that, ma'am.
Yeah.
You can't just keep using that. And you drove drunk, and you can't just keep using your dead mom. And also, your mother is probably horrified in heaven right now that you just invoked her for a fucking drunk driving. That is so gross, Karen. And you know I love some Karen, but that is really gross of her. Stop that and take responsibility. Also, Mother's Day, isn't that like 2 months away?
Unless she's talking about British Mother's Day, which happened very recently. She's like, well, you know, as the Grand Dame, I feel very connected to the English monarchy.
Listen, it is Mother's Day somewhere. Much like it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's Mother's Day somewhere. Very
according to my calendars of the world, it is Mother's Day in Bhutan, so of course I got emotional.
Wow. Look at that. Just look. It's also 5 o'clock in Bhutan. Cheers. Let's have a drink. I'm giving this statement from an SUV on the freeway.
You know, the roads in Bhutan are naturally very windy, so I just tried to empathize with what it's like to drive in that country on Mother's Day. So if I was swerving, I was merely trying to recapture the experience of driving on a beautiful old country Bhutanese road.
Bhutanese. You know, I'm trying to look up her statement because, of course, I took a screenshot of it. And I think they said that they also found liquor in her, not liquor in her car, but like Shinerbach. I think it was Shinerbach. And I remember thinking, Shiner?
Texan.
She's got fucking bottles of Shiner in her car.
I love Shinerbach.
Yeah, but I just didn't see it.
Don't drive with it. I saw the photos of like her tire marks, like all over the median and everything like that, and like the tree that she clipped. You know, Karen's gonna have.
I love that we're just using clipped now. Whenever a Real Housewife drives drunk into something.
I know. Well, I think that driving drunk and hitting trees is sort of a thing on Potomac. So she's just carrying the torch of Monique.
The Monique torch. Speaking of, does this open the door for Monique to come home?
It opens the door, and then Karen's going to drive right into that door and knock it off its hinges. Listen, if you're going to ride the fence, do it safely, Karen.
This is not breaking news, but since I've got my phone open because I'm looking for a tweet, this is a picture of Kyle Richards. Can everybody see it? Kyle posted. I'm not sure what's going on in this picture. A lot of surgery. She's got her hair in like a little girl barrette type style. And her face, I mean, she really does look like she's been pulled tight over something. And she's wearing a tiny little pink backpack. And I sent it to you and one of our other friends, and our friend wrote me back, tell me you're dating a 12-year-old without telling me you're dating a 12-year-old.
I know. She is on her journey towards becoming Kim Zolciak, so we're very proud of her. I mean, she already has a lesbian storyline, under her belt. Next, she just has to find a football player, and and then her daughters have to go down a path of also insane surgery.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here we are, Potomac season. Because here we are reading Instagram.
Let's also say this was such a weird ass season finale. Just the way it was edited and presented, it was just so strange. And then all of a sudden we pivot to the last 10 minutes of Mia and Gordon having a really good scene. Finally there was a scene that was fascinating. But this whole season's been a total mess, and this season finale to me captured all of that.
But is there if there was a season finale on Bravo that didn't involve bringing the cameras up because someone cheated on their spouse, is it even a season finale in 2023 or 2024? Is it just every show now? I mean, they're shameless. Exactly. They're shameless over there. Guys, we watch all your shows. You can't just do the same fucking thing on every show. It's yep. And then the cameras came back up 3 months later, right when the show started to air. Shocker. All this stuff came out.
Well, by the way, I saw a tweet that was basically saying Mia and Gordon are showing Robin and Juan how it's done. Basically saying meaning that Robin and Juan clearly have these wild issues, and then they just were tight-lipped and pretended like everything was fine. And this could have been their season, and it could have been actually a really interesting season watching them hash all this stuff out. I guess they want to protect their family, which is, I guess, a fair thing to do. But Robin and Juan, this could have been a great season. But I think that Robin was not giving anything. And, I always say, whenever you have someone who's not giving anything, it really has a domino effect on the whole cast. And I think that just inspires other people to not give stuff. You're not gonna be honest. Well, then I'm not. If you're not gonna share your dirty laundry, then I'm not going to, because why should I be the only one to embarrass myself?
Right. Whereas Mia's she lives in a town built on dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Her foundation is dirty laundry, and I love it.
That is all it is.
I also thought it was super fun with Mia's storyline that it wasn't someone else's fault, because it's kind of flipping the script, right? Because on these housewives shows, it's oh my God, is Mauricio cheating on Kyle? Oh my God, what did Carl do to Lindsay? Of course, now that we've seen the show, we know that it's Lindsay who's the aggressor pretty much in that
Carl.
one. But still, the storyline is pretty much how does Lindsay get fucked over in this? Or Scandival, obviously, it was Tom fucked over. And this one, I really love that this one's nope, Mia's totally to blame, and kind of trying to talk her way out of it, but not even really. She's just yeah, so what? So what if I cheated on you? I told you I was doing it.
Yeah. I think this is also a failure on the show's part, because the show did weave in throughout the season that Mia and Gordon were having some issues. We knew going into the season that they were breaking up, but I never felt like the show did a good job of developing intrigue around any of this. So we're just okay, shrug. They're going to break up. Who cares? We'll watch them go through another therapy session that's going to be totally ineffective. Who cares? It was not the slow car wreck that has been Summer House, Vanderpump
How
Rules.
dare you
and-
call
and-
my car wreck slow?
Sorry,
I invented car wrecks.
Too soon. Too soon. I'm not
think
the
it's
car
hard-
wreck. Wait a second. I am the car wreck. You ride me until I crash into a tree.
I saw that tweet. I don't know if you saw this tweet, and that's why you're saying it. But there was a really funny Instagram or something earlier where someone said, "I'm not drunk driving. I am the drunk. I am drunk driving. You drive me," or something like that. So fun. It's such a stupid tagline. I love it. But also, I think it's hard to build intrigue around a relationship like Mia's and Gordon's, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like the least shocking thing to ever happen is
And we've
you're
never been
married to
invested
an old
in it.
man who used to pay $10,000 an hour to you at a strip club who can no longer get it up. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, there's only so many options. You know?
Yeah, it's not like they were a couple that we just like were like, enwrapped by their love and their affair and their romance. And we're like, they were a forever couple. Like we were not there for their courtship, and we've always found him to be kind of creepy, and she's just like a not sociological liar. She's a sociological liar. She lies about sociological trends. I can't believe her, the audacity. No, but she's like a liar.
She's a socio-economical liar. You know, if I have to hear one more lie about the minimum wage being raised, I swear.
Yeah. But she's like, what is the phrase? Why can't I think of the phrase?
Pathological.
Pathological. I was like, why am I saying sociological? Pathological. She's a pathological liar. She clearly married for money. and this guy is like a creep, and we're supposed to care that their marriage fell apart. But then, of course, this episode, when we find out the details, it's like, wait a second. This is wild. Why are you giving us only 5 minutes of this for the whole season? This is so rude of you.
It's actually amazing. And we'll talk about it later at the end. But there were some twists and turns. Like, she's the one who's insisting on I mean, there's just okay. We'll get to that later. So for now, we are still in the Muppet Wars of 2024. Deborah has come back to the show, tried to start a fight. This is also not breaking news. I'm so sorry I took so many screenshots today. I literally have been in bed all weekend. Someone asked Ashley on her Instagram, Ashley, can you explain why you asked if the cameras were still rolling? I'm guessing that question was asked at the reunion. Ashley says, I wanted them to play regular music. We can only play cleared music while cameras are rolling, and we had so many guests asking when the bots would start. That actually makes sense to me.
I think that makes sense.
That makes sense to me because the rest of this doesn't. So Deborah's come back. She started a fight. We hear Ashley saying, are the cameras down? Are we done filming? Okay, great. We're done filming. And then this fight ensues. So it sounds like Ashley was saying, okay, the cameras are down. Go kick her ass, Deborah, which doesn't make sense because Ashley would want that to be on camera, right?
That's the thing. Ashley, the way she moves, she would want that all to be on camera. I 100% agree.
Unless she wanted Deborah to attack Candace and then for Candace to retaliate, and then she could make it all that Candace was the aggressor and get Candace fired from the show.
Again, I think she would want that all on camera.
I think so too.
She wants it on camera.
Yeah. Just giving other options, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. But the way, like Ashley, at the end of the day, like if it's going to be happening, it's going to happen on camera for her. She doesn't want it off camera. That's like a waste for her. That's not how she operates.
Right. So at 9:56, production wrapped filming. Mike's was still on. And Deborah starts immediately after this Ashley thing. And she's like, Candace, is there anything that you and I need to talk about, Candace? And Candace is saying, absolutely not. The help is talking to me. And the help was capitalized, which I really liked because it was like they were talking about the movie.
The movie. Like, little DVD walked up to her.
Someone is doing lines about a shit pie to me and I will not accept it.
Can you get the help away from me? And Deborah's like, you called me Sesame Street. You didn't say any of that in front of me. You didn't say any of that in front of me. And then Kieran was like, it's none the please. It's none the please. And Deborah's like, but you don't have anything to say in front of my face though, do you? Right? But when I'm in front of you, you don't want to say anything, right?
She's so gross. No one has to say anything to your face. You weren't saying that her husband was trying to cheat on her with you to her face.
That's
you were
the
saying
thing.
that on camera behind everybody's back. And you're not on this cast, you thirsty Muppet. Go away.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's where Deborah will always lose, is that she came onto this show and she held court and said that Eddie and Chris were making eyes at her. Well, Eddie was making eyes at women, and that Chris was making eyes at her and was like looking her up and down, like, And then we've seen that debunked a million times. They love showing that footage of Chris literally not looking at her, where they put the chyron up of Chris not looking at Deborah. So we know like her perception of reality is really not good. She's like a liar, essentially.
They used it 4 or 5 times today, that footage, and it cracked me up
and
every
with
time
this today's
Deborah tried
episode.
it.
You're a
Just
liar.
in
So
this
you lost all
episode.
credibility. Like, she shouldn't have gone up to Candace in the first place. But like, if she were completely innocent in this situation, I can imagine a world where she's like, you've been calling me a Muppet on national TV. I'm not even on this show, and I don't have a way to, like, I don't have a voice on this show, and now you're sitting here talking shit about me. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, defending yourself in that way. I can see a world where one would do that. But the truth is this, though: you're not innocent in this situation. You came in and you slandered her husband, and she has a right to talk shit about you and call you a Muppet. Also, you're kind of a Muppet.
Yeah, well, the discussion really doesn't even go to, do you have the right to say it? It's a housewife show. You have the right to say whatever you want. But the throwing drinks on people and starting physical shit with people, yeah, you don't have a right to do that.
And
So,
also, let's be honest, if you're gonna do that shit, like, at least wait, do it on camera, right? Like, do it on camera to get
that's
some
the thing.
mileage
Like,
out
you're
of it.
just not prepared for this. You know what I mean? It's like someone who comes into an office job and just wants to write everything handwritten. Like, type. You have to type. Like, you're just not built for this job, is what I'm saying. You're not good.
Yeah.
You're not good at it. You know, you're bad. You've been caught in lies, and you're just also bad at drama. Like, who starts drama when the cameras are down? Idiots. Yeah. You're an idiot. So
Dumb.
in other news, another screenshot.
Another screenshot.
Deborah has said she will be back. Don't worry, everybody. She
Deborah
wasn't
will be
fired.
back this summer.
Deborah, don't worry, everybody. Deborah could be back any moment. So.
Deborah will be back. So then we hear the sound of all the fighting and everything, and guess what? Production cameras were brought back up in the aftermath of the altercation.
Are camera people on this channel ever allowed to just rest? Do they ever rest? Or I think camera people, like, every time they take a nap, they're like, all right, it's time to bring the cameras back up. They're, God damn it. Just testing you. Just need the readiness there. All right.
I think they need to start treating these cameras like they need to treat these shows like you were Decky on Below Deck, which is that it doesn't matter what time of day it is. Someone's got to have an eye on that anchor. Okay, so someone's got to be on anchor watch. So those cameras go down, but we need one person on anchor watch. Okay, keep a camera rolling, just one camera, and get it in the Ubers. You know, Below Deck doesn't have this problem. Below Deck has cameras everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
And they get everything. They get every single thing. Learn from Below Deck.
Learn from Below Deck, guys. So, we don't see all the fight. I saw the fight like everybody else. My really good friend, who's an ex-housewife, Shasha Medea, the most lethal of all the housewives.
This was actually her sister, Tammy Z.
Oh,
Get it!
funny. That's funny. I didn't. I was like, what?
Tammy Z.
It's funny. So yeah, Tammy Z had some cell phone footage of this. Did you watch it?
Yeah, of course. Well,
90
obviously,
times.
when it
You're
first
lucky
happened,
I didn't download that shit and start replaying it on here, because you know that was my intention, right?
I did not know that was your. I'm glad you set an intention. But of course, when it happened, I watched it. But now that we have greater context, everyone's been posting it again, and we've all been watching it. And
A lot of people in yellow suits. It was very confusing, right? There was Karen. There was Karen in her yellow suit. There was someone in there fighting with a yellow suit that was blonde.
Fell
so
over.
I thought it was Karen, but then it wasn't Karen. It was somebody else. But then, I don't know. It's a confusing video because it's far back, which is why we need up-close cameras.
That's why we need these shot by professionals and not by people at the club. Okay.
We can't have cell phone footage. So the funniest thing about this video, and it's funny because it didn't actually come to fruition, because it would have sucked if it came to fruition, because it really would have gotten Candace in trouble, which was the drink was thrown, and Candace's first response is just to like grab a big bottle of champagne off the table and get ready to just knock the shit out of Deborah. Which
that was gonna
I
be like a
love
back
that.
alley fight. Like, I'm surprised she didn't break that champagne bottle against the wall and take that broken half with her hand and just like come at her like some cult movie of the 80s, like Women in Prison.
I just loved that. And then it turns out to be Charisse. Her first reaction was, no, 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 no. I'm taking the bottle.
Shasha saved her.
Candace.
Shasha saved her, and Shasha made a good point later in the episode, I have to say.
Oh, I'll get to that breaking news later. Only have screenshots on my phone of this show today. That's all I've
Wait,
got.
does Shasha re-breaking her foot count as literal breaking news?
No, but but there is Shasha news later.
There's Shasha news. Well,
There's
Ronnie,
Shasha news.
I am failing at my job as a podcaster. You have scooped up all these amazing Potomac news articles. I
I didn't do
want
shit
something.
today. I've done
Let's see.
nothing today.
How about I just make up
Or
something?
yesterday. Or the day before. Really, never. Don't really do much. That's my point.
Wait. Here's some breaking news. Michael Dalby just ejaculated on a rubber ducky.
Gross. Okay, so now everybody is going. Now some people are going to the restroom. That's where they've taken Kay. They've taken her to the restroom to calm her down. And of course, Wendy is the most upset over this. This has affected Wendy the most. So Wendy is off. We're all going to have to find a way to apologize to Wendy in this episode because Wendy is very bothered by this, everybody. So they go to the bathroom and someone's saying, call the ambulance. And Ashley's like, what happened? I just don't understand what happened. Of course, the person, Ashley, who started 90% of the fights on this show, never understands how anything happened.
Never understands. And then inside the bathroom, Kierna is telling NECA what happened. And NECA's like, Deborah threw a drink on Candace, but she hit Kierna in the head. And
No, she said, but she hit me in the head, I think.
No, but NECA wasn't hit in the head, though.
I think the drink hit NECA. I think she threw a
drink
drink
hit
and it hit
NECA.
NECA. But then something happened, and then she also threw a glass at Kay's face, which got her later, Kierna's face.
Well, no. Well, what happened? Right, because as far as we can tell, is that there was the words with Candace. Deborah threw the drink at Candace, and then Kierna jumped in to push. Like, one version is that Kierna sort of pushed Deborah away to be like, stop it. Another version is Kierna took a punt, like swung at Deborah, according to Deborah, who is factually slippery. And then Deborah retaliated by bashing the glass against Kierna's head.
Yeah. So I think the initial thing was just a drink, and then the glass came later. But I don't know. My only point, the only reason I care is just to illustrate this point. Deborah can't even aim. You know what I mean? Like, Deborah, you suck. You're terrible at your fucking job. You don't wait for the cameras to be up while you start this fight. You lie constantly, and you can't even aim a drink? I mean, Jesus Christ, did you go to the Mia Thornton school of throwing drinks? Like, who taught you to throw that drink, girl? It didn't even come close.
Yeah. So then Ashley is talking to her hairstylist, Corey, and he's just like saying that he picked up Deborah, and then Deborah was saying, oh my God, one of Wendy's friends touched me. I didn't touch her. So of course Deborah was acting like she didn't touch anyone. Well, actually no, Deborah's claiming that she merely threw a drink, which is nothing, right?
There was barely anything in there, guys. That's what Deborah's like, there was hardly anything in there.
Hands on her.
Stupid Deborah.
Poor Kierna.
Okay,
she had a rough season. She basically got diarrhea. No one checked on her. And then she got bashed in the forehead with glass.
She didn't have the best season. I will say this. I think she's got a lot of charisma. I think she's got promise. I think she will be back. She's gorgeous. And her look in that confessional is pretty amazing. I mean,
gorgeous.
Wow. And usually I try not to judge people like that. Like, oh my God, you know why I like her? Because she's gorgeous.
I know.
She really, every time they show her, I'm like, damn.
I just worry that her personality is not where it needs to be a real housewife.
Well, it takes time to warm up, and she did start a diarrhea fight. So credit where credit is due.
I can relate to that based on my last week. So anyway, Wendy's like, She's like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm pissed because this girl has no reason to have that shit off of me. And the producer's like, okay, she's talking to her mom. She's asking if she can talk to her mom. And so Kieran's like on the phone talking to her mom. And Karen's like trying to calm Wendy down and everything. Like, calm down, calm down. But he's like, I'm pissed. I know you are, but let's put her first. Let's do that. I need to see the nearest hospital. She's going to be all right. Now, tell me something. What is your name, sweetheart? Are you actually on our cast? Is this true?
Wendy seems the most furious out of everybody about this. Like, she's reacting the most. Do you think it's because Wendy's friends are accused of being in this fight? Because there, something else we heard this episode earlier, I forget who said it. It was like 2 lines ago, and we're an hour into this recap, something like that. But somebody said that Wendy's friends started it with her. So do you think Wendy is just getting defensive because she knows her friends are going to be accused? Because Wendy is like, what does she care so much?
Because don't forget, Deborah was the one who tried to make it seem like Eddie was cheating. So Wendy does not like Deborah. Don't you remember last episode when they did a commercial break when Deborah came up to Wendy and it was like, is Wendy going to hug Deborah back? So she doesn't like Deborah.
Yeah.
She thinks Deborah's a piece of shit. I mean, is she also capitalizing off of what Deborah called Eddie? Yes, but that's a whole other issue. So she doesn't, and she knows she's going to get dragged in for the 2nd season in a row into some, bullshit about the fighting. And I don't think she wants to have any part of it, especially not with this dodo.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So then, back out at the bar, they're taking Deborah out and Candace is being restrained by her friends and she's taunting Deborah. She's like, whatever, Muppet. That's yelling at her as she goes. She calls her Grover. She's like, get out of here, Grover. Which I think that's a very sweet. That's actually nice. It's one of Candace's nicest moments. Like she gave her a cute. She's like, get out of here, Elmo. It's like you're making her like the cute Muppets. You know what I mean? Make her Oscar or like Animal.
I would say Snuffleupagus, but I believe that one was already taken by Heather Dubrow to Emily Simpson. But we already had a Snuffleupagus fight earlier this year, so we need to do a different one. But I do think that Grover is a little too nice. I think that Deborah's like a. Well, I don't think that Gonzo is on Sesame Street, but I think it would be fair to still call her Gonzo. I think she's definitely Gonzo.
I think she's like a Beaker. No, not a Beaker. What's the doctor's name that Beaker works
Bunsen?
with? She's a Bunsen.
She might be Swedish Chef, like in his off hours.
Okay. So Wendy's really, going. Oh, we already did that part. Okay, so now Candace is still yelling, and they're like, "Oh my God, just calm down, Candace." And Mia's like, "Oh, you're fine, Candace, you're fine. Focus, Candace." And then Deborah's, trying to get more camera time as she's being called Grover and dragged out of there. And basically, they're trying to calm Candace down. And they're like, you're fine. And Netka's like, you're fine. You're fine. She goes, I am fine. I am fine. So then outside, Deborah is going off about her version. And she says she was arguing with Candace. And she had just a little bit of a drink in her glass. And she didn't throw, it's not like she threw the glass. She just threw the rest of the cocktail in her hair because she was calling her the help. And then out of nowhere, Kiana hits her in her face. And that's when she threw her glass at her.
And Ashley's like, she punched you? And she's like, yes, in my face. And then that's when we got on the floor. And Ashley's like, oh, fuck, Deborah. And then Deborah's like, no, you're not going to put hands on me and think I'm just going to not say anything. I'm not going to not do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's kind of pulled out of there. But looking at the camera, it's like she just nailed it. You did not just nail it. You're a failure. You're a failure.
Yeah, and by the way, if Deborah's going to do the pull the retaliation card, which is like she was saying such rude things to me, like I threw a drink at her, but she started it. Well, then you got hit in the face because, like, if you understand the logic that if you're gonna go with the logic that someone's actions precipitated your actions, then you have to realize that then your actions precipitated someone else's actions. So you should theoretically
it's a chain effect,
be chill.
Guys, chicken or the egg? Am I right? Chicken.
Am I right? Chicken or the Muppet?
Egg, guys. That is the question.
So anyway,
so then inside the bathroom, the producer, they're taking care of Kate, who, by the way, is bleeding. She has a bloody
bleeding
face
in her forehead.
She is fucking bleeding. That's crazy. So they're basically all on her side because I think the one with the bloody face automatically wins because that's crazy. This is Housewives, and I like later when she goes, she hit me in the face, and she's like this.
Yes.
Can you imagine even trying to come for this gorgeous work of art?
Yes, and so Kieran was like, yeah, she threw like a drink, Candace, so I like pushed her out of the way, and like, but then believe me, like I don't even know what happened, like, but we were fighting, and like you hit me in the fucking head. And Karen's like, well, if she goes to the hospital, I want to talk to her mother and let her know where she is, let her know what side of the fence she's on, aka the other side of the me that she's on. Doesn't make sense, but I just wanted to use a fence analogy. It felt like an appropriate time.
But also, Kieran's version is suspect too, because she threw a drink on Candace, and then I pushed her out of the way. In her face? Were you pushing her in her face out of the way? Was it one of those where you were just like, you will get out of the way? I'm not sure because I can't tell.
She made it seem
video.
like she just sort of like moved her out of the way, but we saw the video. It was more than a push.
Simply moving her out of the way.
Simply just trying to displace her, trying to get her at a different
But she's
region.
good at it. You know what I mean? She's good at giving testimony or whatever. Because she's like, here's what happened. I barely even, not like stupid Deborah, who's going to be convicted in 2 seconds. Who's like, oh, so I just had a little bit of the drink, so I threw it at her. And then she did this, so I threw a glass at her. Like, Deborah's the worst. Kieran would just be like, well, I just slightly moved her out of the way and then tried to hand her a glass to drink out of. Because she seemed thirsty, you know?
Yeah.
That's how to do it.
So now Karen comes out of the bathroom. It's like, everyone, Karen's about to come out. Karen's about to come out. Clear a path for the bloody girl. So
Fence incoming! All right.
All right. As a fence, it is my greatest duty to make sure I create a path for everyone. Look out, everyone. So,
As someone called a fence, there was a great defense that happened here tonight. No pun intended. So, scuffle. Back in my day, this would have been solved with a good old fencing session. Am I right?
Triple 20. So Wendy is like, now they're all telling their stories now. Wendy's like, you know what? Before Deborah even says anything to Candace, I hear her saying something a little bit to Ashley, and I can't make it out because of the music, but it seemed like it had a lot of oomph to it. I was like, that's...
What does that mean?
What is that? No, I reject that. That is not part of evidence. I'm not defending Deborah, but that's ridiculous. Sorry, that does not count. Trying to suggest there was a conspiracy that Ashley told Deborah to go attack Candace.
Yeah, but I couldn't hear it. Well, we heard it because there were mics, and that's not really what happened.
Yeah, they would, and they would have. By the way, if that had happened, you for sure know that would have been on. They would have put that on the show.
Yes. So then Mia's like, who cares? You know, she's like, someone was saying something about think about your children. I mean, whatever. And then Karen's like, well, this seems intentional and attention seeking. Intentional attention. Intentional attention. Say that 10 times. All right. Now, we're standing up. Next thing I know, Deborah, Sesame Street, whatever they call her, she takes a drink and then she throws the drink. She throws it to hit Candace. And at that point, and then we switch to Kay, and she's like, and at that point, I'm like pushing her back, you know, that's when she does the motion. And then she says she turned around, she grabbed a glass, she hits her in her forehead. She's like, this face. That's when she does that, this face. So, yeah, I think Team K on this one.
Yeah, definitely. So Karen's like,
but notice nobody's story has them rolling around on the ground.
That's true. No one has a version where everyone, like 3 people, fall onto the ground in this mess.
Yes,
so
and the grabbing onto the hair and holding onto it. Like nobody has all of that. Which I mean, I guess I don't blame them. But come on, if you're gonna do it, you can't just drip it to us. I need the whole thing, guys. And this is like something about your season when it's better to watch the cell phone footage than the actual show. That's sad, guys.
So Karen gets in the ambulance with Kieran to go to the hospital, and she goes, it's unfortunate. I never want to see it again. I think it's a lesson to all of us. Certain friends you can't mix with other friends. I just don't know how Ashley missed that one. It's unfortunate, because Kay suffered the ramifications. But don't worry. I shall go with her to the hospital, even though it increases my exposure to potential diarrhea by 95%. Does anyone have a poncho?
So Cookie, who's in this episode a lot, we get a lot of Cookie this episode. Cookie's out there telling Ashley what happened, and Ashley's like, "Well, I should have known better because this. I knew that Deborah was going to be a problem. I should have known." And Cookie's like, "It's not your fault," which is so funny because that's how cookies make me feel in general. That's why I eat them so much. Whenever I'm feeling bad, I just have a cookie, and I'm like, "This wasn't my fault." God, I love cookies.
all those little cookies are like Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting. They're like, it's not your fault.
It's not your
It's
fault.
not your fault.
I feel like if anybody wants people to like your child, you should name it Cookie because Cookie can literally do no wrong. I mean, her name is Cookie. I love her. Fucking love Cookie.
Yeah, but if you name your child Cookie, just know it will grow up with a Bronx accent and like blow very large bubblegum bubbles. What you want, mister? Oh, that's Cookie again.
There goes
What's going
Cookie.
on, mister?
Wasn't there a movie called Cookie with like Peter Falk?
Probably, but don't try and ruin Cookie for me. I'm like imagining all the children I could have. They're all named Cookie. Or maybe if I have multiple ones, they could just
Your
be
dream-
different kinds of cookies. Like
Your
could be
dream would
chocolate
be to
chip.
have several, like, I feel like you would love to be the father to a little girl who had a Bronx accent and like a little attitude, like a little
Of
Cyndi
course.
Lauper.
Yeah.
You would love that. You would
Yeah.
love to be the dad. You would love a reboot of Girls Just Want to Have Fun video, and you could be the dad and be like little Cyndi Lauper, and you'd be like, now get in here, Cookie. You know?
Cookie, this may work on all your teachers at school, but it's not going to work on me. I mean, get in here. You do
Shut
your chores,
up, Dad.
Cookie.
You don't know anything.
Daddy may not have much, but he has the credit cards. Get your ass in here. I'm the only one that Cookie listens to.
Ronnie
It's like
and
my
Cookie.
dream.
Ronnie and Cookie this fall on NBC.
Okay, so then we go to, let's see. They're just talking about this for a really long time. Not as long as we are, of course, because we're 45 minutes in. But
Ashley is like saying,
Yeah. Well, I didn't really have like Candace on the forefront of my mind when I think about Deborah because like I feel like these are like two grown women who like they don't mesh fine, but like it's like the club is huge and like there's no need for everyone to be feeling like pressure like so and so's here and like I have been in the room.
okay, whatever. Like, yes, it's true. They are adults, and yes, it's a large room. They don't have to mix or talk with each other. But you know what you could do is you could say to Deborah, listen, you should apologize to Candace for what you said last season because that was bullshit. Or you could say, don't you dare go up to, like, stay away from her or something. You could do something or just not invite her in the first place because you knew it was going to start drama. And you knew if you claimed to care about Candace, that like Deborah, if you only know Deborah in one context, but you've known Candace for 6 years in many different contexts, and you're going to claim that you actually care about Candace, then you probably should not invite Deborah.
okay, yeah. So then we go. I'm tired of this fight. This is like so boring.
Don't
And also
dismiss my
after the
rant.
Candace, no, I'm not dismissing your rant. I think it was true. Everything you just said was completely true. I just hit that wall with it where I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this fight. I have to move on now.
Would you say that you were you were mentally in a Karen Huger place, just hitting walls?
Only because I care about my mother so much. Guys, this fight just doesn't, I mean, no pun intended, but this fight really just doesn't pack a punch. It was kind of boring, and it was Deborah, who we don't care about. And even at the end, when Wendy and Karen really try and lecture everybody about this fight, they tried to do like they did in the Monique and Candace fight season, where Giselle, like, remember when Giselle brought her bodyguard because she couldn't be around Monique, and then they lectured everyone about how could you do this to the movement and to the people, and it became this huge lecture, and everybody had to get lectured about it. And Karen and Wendy both try it this time, and everybody just looks at them like, we've already sat through this, and we're not going to sit through this again. You two need to go figure something else out. Nobody cares. Sorry.
Yeah. So the fight lasts for like the scene with the fight lasts maybe the first like 7 minutes of the episode, 5 to 7 minutes, and then we go to this Monarch party, this party from Monarch magazine, where everyone got to take photos in the style of a female black icon. It was very like ANTM. Everyone except for NECA. Like, NECA, no, you don't get to take a photo like someone.
He
Which,
just thinks that you're too new, so he's not gonna have you.
You're too new to the neighborhood.
So what this really means is that we're going to get 15 minutes of people showing up with slow motion to this party for Monarch magazine.
Now, here's how I know this is not a town for me. The stairs. Is there a place that they go to without stairs? I mean, every single fucking place they go to on this show. And by the way, every place that we go to when we're there is also up 5 flights of stairs. And we always go there in the summer.
Stair town.
Like we went.
We did a show in DC. I think our first DC show, and we did an after party at like a beer garden, and there was a monster staircase to get to that beer garden.
It's not okay. It's just not okay. I need a town without stairs, or
don't forget
a town with
Karen's
escalators.
Sorry, I was talking over you because my headphones are quiet, so I couldn't.
You have no choice. I never stop. I'm just gonna sit here and talk about 30 minutes about me and my daughter Cookie trying to make it up flights of stairs, and then Cookie tried to drag me. I still couldn't make it. Poor old Cookie doesn't have the upper body strength.
Remember Karen got at one of her like vow renewals or whatever, that was at a strange event space that had an enormous staircase, and like she was up at the top of a staircase and everyone else was at the bottom, but the whole thing was also like in an industrial park. It was so strange. Yeah. Big staircase energy in this town.
It's a staircase show. Okay, so now all these photos of these women are up. None of them have anything to do with any of the women they're supposed to be, which is hilarious. I'm not like you see this stuff in something like Vanity Fair a lot, where they'll recreate certain things and they look amazing. I just saw one that was like a 30s recreation of 42nd Street, but with like all the famous actors of that moment. I was making a vision board, so it was like not recent, but it was like Kristen Ritter was one of the dancing girls, and Emma Stone was one of the vicious girls waiting to take over the role. You know, it was so good. It was so well done. This one's not that. It's I don't know who they're supposed to be. There's no markers. You know what I mean?
There are hints. I mean, it's not like you know, Dorothy Dandridge was like dressed with like, you know, in overalls. So like there definitely was like an attempt, and there's like visual hints and cues, but it just they may not have like stuck the landing on all of them.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
So yeah, I didn't get it. And guess who else doesn't get it? Tha. So Tha comes down the stairs, and unfortunately, I brought my hoverboard, but it doesn't go on the stairs. So fortunately, I'm gonna have to wear my boot. Somehow Tha has hurt her foot, and I don't know. And you know also who doesn't know how? Cookie doesn't know how. Cookie's here. Cookie's always here now. Hi, Cookie. Love you. Love you, Cookie.
Cookie's in her room talking on her phone on her bed with her feet up in the air. Shasha's like, oh, who's that? Is that Dorothy Dandridge? Because I think it's Dorothy Dandridge. Oh, Karen, is he Marilyn Monroe? Is that a pun? I don't get it.
Black icon Marilyn Monroe. And so she's trying to guess who everybody is and doesn't guess any of them, you know, which you can blame her. So then Cookie and Karen are making small talk about the boot, and Karen doesn't care because she still hates Charisse. And then Ashley comes, and you know, it's a lot of hellos. We don't need to go over every single hello thing. But then we see that Ashley has found out more information about this Deborah fight, and she's not happy with Deborah because there's an article or an Instagram post, I don't know, something that she said, oh, really? You left your nail in my real ponytail that you unsuccessfully could not rip out? Let me know if you'd like it back. Now, let someone leak that. P.S. Did you enjoy your ambulance ride? Ouch.
Wow. Yeah, and she goes, punch me in my face first. No, ma'am. So Ashley's basically like, you know, after seeing the social media stuff and after Deborah was really doubling down and with that sort of antagonizing, I decided to really put a pause on my friendship with Deborah. A lapse of judgment is one thing. It's really how you act moving forward, and I can't get down with that. Yeah, you probably should have stopped getting down with that last season when you saw that she fully lied about your cast members' husbands. That was so unacceptable. And Ashley still brought her around.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Deborah's still the one who hit somebody. So fuck Deborah. That's what I say. I still forgive you, Ashley. Still forgive you, Ashley. Okay.
Well, no,
I
this is basically
bringing
Ashley
on a Muppet to do your dirty work. I mean, that's housewivery. housewifery. When you're like, I want to start some shit with Candace. I'm going to do it through this lady in my mommy and me group so I don't get in trouble. Like, to me, that's doing your job, you know? And on a season where literally nobody does theirs, I have to say, at least she did something. She didn't hit anybody. Deborah did. Damn you, Deborah. Down with Deborah. Also, Deborah, you just confessed again about stealing somebody's fingernail. I mean, what the hell? You still suck at this, Deborah.
People on Twitter want Ashley fired. They're like,
they always want Ashley fired. I mean, they've been wanting
Ashley's
Ashley
making an
fired
effort.
since the first day.
Ashley's making an effort, so I say keep her. I mean, she just really massively miscalculated on this one, and this is her way of saying like, "Oops, I tried to do something, it didn't really work out, so don't worry, I'm not really friends with her. Please don't be mad at me."
And of course, she does the Bravo style. She doesn't say I'm not friends with her anymore. She says she puts that friendship on pause. It's a very Bravo way. Deborah, our friendship was on pause, but wait until our birthday parties next year. We'll see you again. We'll reconsider.
So Karen's asking Ashley if she liked her picture, and Ashley's basically like, no, it's not the one I would have picked. And it turns out that it was Mia who got to choose all the photos, which is hilarious because, of course, Mia's going to choose the least flattering photos of everyone but herself.
I mean, I thought everybody's picture was really pretty, but I don't take good pictures, so I just look at everybody else's picture, and I'm like, that is so beautiful. I wish I could do that. So I was impressed with everybody's. So then, and also this didn't become a fight, so it was like another wasted thread of like, I'm going to get Mia for choosing a bad picture of me. But nothing came of that. I know it's a shocker after this season. Nothing comes of that. And also, she got you a magazine shoot, so shut up. So then more people come in, and more people say hi, and more people squeal about it. Super cute. Giselle's super sad because she's talking about her father who went into brain surgery. And then Charisse limps over to the table and talks to Karen and Cookie. And she tells them she's not really sure. So they ask, what happened to your foot? And she's like, well, Candace got into an argument with that girl. Then the girl threw a drink at her. And then Candace grabs her champagne bottle. So I grabbed the champagne bottle. Then I sit down on my couch in the champagne room. And I said, let's have a conversation. Because the breaking news is I have a new podcast called Conversations in the Champagne Room. Thank you. That's the breaking news on Charisse. She has a new podcast called Conversations in the Champagne Room. As I just said, I'm just going to repeat myself until people get super excited.
Wow.
No. Conversations in the Champagne Room. Nobody.
Wow.
Okay, would it help if I had
Shasha.
conversations in the Champagne Room while I'm on my hoverboard?
Shasha's the first podcast recorded entirely on a hoverboard. She is really trying to still make that champagne room be a thing, huh? That little cubbyhole, that renovated pantry that she turned into a champagne room.
That's her thing. And I love that someone bases their personality done on like a storyline remodel. You know what I mean? Conversations
like,
in the converted garage. Join me.
Remember, didn't Chris Rock have that song or that thing like "No Sex in the Champagne Room" or something like that? There was like that song, that comedy song that came out. When I hear champagne room, I just think of the back room at a strip club. And so the fact that she's like, I have a champagne room and it's just off the side of my kitchen. It's like, I don't know, Shasha. You may have missed the mark on this one.
Room. I'm going to have a Snickers room. You just go in there and you just enjoy a Snickers together. That's all you can have in there.
I hope you really do make that, because next time I come visit you, I would like to spend some time in the Snickers room.
I'll be like, whoa. No whatchamacallit's allowed, mister. This is the Snickers room. All right.
Snickers
Drop
only.
the
I have a
payday.
question. Are ice cream Snickers allowed?
They are allowed. They're a Snickers. They are
They
branded.
kind of. Well, here's a question. Would a Milky Way or a Three Musketeers be allowed in the Snickers room?
No, it's not the Mars room. It's the Snickers room.
Well, given that they are basically just like the sadder younger brothers of Snickers, like they're the
Milky
less
Ways
the
are
less
not
matured.
sad.
What?
How dare you? Milky Ways are not sad. I actually went to Cost Plus World Market and I got a European Milky Way just so I could have the real sugar with it. And let me just tell you that it's overrated. Real sugar is overrated. Bring on the corn syrup. It didn't taste that much better than corn syrup. So bring on the farming industry, I say.
Milky Ways are very nice. I haven't had one in forever because I've really become such a Snickers person. When I was younger, I did not like Snickers. I thought the nuts were too much, and I thought Milky Ways were the best. But I think we can all agree that Three Musketeers are the saddest, though. It just feels like they're lacking.
Those. Yeah, I don't like those. I do love a Milky Way, though.
They're good.
Here's the best
They're
way to
lacking.
have a Milky Way. Put it in the freezer and then eat it that way. You'll lose some teeth, but goddamn, it's good.
You know what's surprisingly good that I have not had in so long, but I feel like I had one recently, and I was like, damn, these are really good. I feel like I should sort of like weave them into my candy bar impulse purchases at the supermarket more. Mounds and Almond Joy. They're really good.
Yeah, I like an Almond Joy. Mounds, I don't think, it's been a long time. Okay,
Mounds,
let's move on because this episode is going to kill me. It's going to be 19 hours. Okay.
Why do I feel like this candy bar discussion is more interesting than half of the season finale?
Well, let me tell you what Candace should have grabbed instead of a champagne bottle to hit somebody with, and that is a frozen Milky Way. Because those things pack. They pack it. Okay, so now the conversation moves over to Charisse. Basically, is tattling on Candace, right? She's like, she got the champagne bottle, but I saved her and I stopped her. And then Cal's like, wait a minute, fucking Cal. We know why you're here, agent of Giselle. Okay, Cal, untrustworthy Cal in this conversation at least. He's like, well, why would she grab the bottle? It doesn't fucking matter, Cal. She didn't use the bottle. Okay, so stop getting so excited that you have evidence to take to your queen.
Well, and so Charisse is like, well, that was her reaction when the girl drew through the drink. So I think somebody stomped on my toe or something because my freshly polished toes have, some scuff on it. So the real victim here, Charisse's pedicure.
Yeah, Charisse is like, I'm not here to tattletale. I'm here to talk about my nail getting scratched. Okay.
I'm starting a GoFundMe for my big toe. Thank you very much.
And Giselle's like, well, this has left a stain on GNA. GNA is a stain. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't.
GNA that still has nothing up on the website except a pair of socks and some Mackenzie's Child Christmas decorations. Stain on GNA.
I'm not sure this is really. I'll tell you what left the stain on GNA: the G and the A. It's like, oh, here's a brand. Oh, it's by Giselle and Ashley. Never mind.
So she's like, we've been working on GNA for so long. Yes, you guys are really like Steve Jobs in the garage with
yes
the windows.
So Karen goes, it angers me. And Ashley says,
I agree, and I'm so thankful that we had a great show. And what Deborah tells me is that while she was sitting there, she could hear Candace and Wendy talking about her. So she got up and was like, "You're talking about me."
So she's just trying to basically blame this whole fight on Candace and Wendy. Candace and Wendy have a right to talk shit as much as anyone else does on this party and in this cast.
They're allowed to say whatever they want. It's called using your words, Ashley. Okay, and she's like, yeah, but she was calling her the vermin and the help. I mean, it's not nice. I mean, what do you want? She doesn't get hugs for it, but so what? The lady started with her. And so Giselle's like, it's the mouth. It's the mouth. It's the mouth. Ah. And Ashley is saying, yeah, well, when Candace put her hand up like that, Deborah threw it in her hair. Because she was giving her the no hand. So she threw a drink at her. So is this supposed to be justifying anything? This is not working out the way you think it is. And then Cal's saying, well, who was there to protect Kay when all these things happened with Candace and Wendy? And Charisse is like, listen, it just went so fast and I'm holding on to Candace and, Candace didn't go anywhere because I was holding on to her. And then Cal says, if Candace was talking about Deborah and calling names, then you should be able to deal with what happens after. Oh, really? Really, Cal? So she should be able to deal with physical assault? Have you talked to Giselle about that, who showed up with a fucking bodyguard after the last time there was any sort of physical altercation? Be quiet, Cal.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think actually in this situation, Cal is trying to defend Kierna because Kierna was Cal's friend. And so he's I don't know. I think that he's taking a stance that's not the strongest here. So
I think he's trying to say that Candace shouldn't be surprised that she caused a fight with words, is what it sounds like to me. He's saying
right.
Candace has these words and she should be prepared to deal with the physical stuff that comes after.
Right.
So that's bullshit. And if that was the case, Giselle could be punched
30 times a season because she gets really fucking low and nasty with people.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. Candace does. She goes in on people, and then she's always surprised when they have reactions. And it's not to blame the victim, but like the truth is that, like, you know, there is such a thing as instigating. I don't think that's what happened in this situation, though. I think that you could look at other situations and you could probably make an argument, but I don't think in this situation. So now Mia comes down the stairs with 2 of Gordon's kids and a 3rd child of unknown origin. And she's like, you know, it took me a couple of days to recover mentally, but I'm glad that we are able to come together and do something really impactful. Yes, I love I'm so glad they're doing something impactful, like posing in a local magazine as Mariah Carey. Changing the world, one photo shoot at a time.
Seriously, the oceans just went down an inch. So that is her kid, right? The 3rd kid. That's
no,
her
of course,
son.
they're all her kids. The question is, are they all Gordon's kids?
Oh, I was going to say, I don't pay much attention to the kids on this show. I remember the 2 younger ones, but not the 3rd older one. But I guess that just goes to show you how much I pay attention.
It's a plot point a little bit later.
So then I took notes on this, but I'm still like, wow. Actually, I guess I didn't. So then Mia comes down the stairs with her kids. Yeah. Okay. You already said that. Okay. So a lot of small talk about how great she is, you know, and like she's really showing her kids that you can make a difference in this world by just, you know, putting on a pretty dress and, I don't know, getting someone to take your picture. Just sweet. And then Gordon talks to, Robin arrives. People are coming. Robin
45
didn't see
minutes
anything.
in the show. People still coming down that staircase.
Should we just skip to the end? What happens?
No.
Okay, I'm going to give you a pop quiz. What happens of note?
Okay, well, let's see. So they're coming down the stairs. Robin comes in. She's I didn't see any of it. So this was noted. I enjoyed this. Candace's sister goes up to Ashley and is basically like, do this one more fucking time, and I'm like, you're gonna have to deal with me. She's like, yeah, so you're not bringing your friend around, are you, again, are you? And Ashley does this whole thing of like, yeah, no, I'm upset with her, and like, the last thing I ever wanted was to see 2 people I know and care about ever get into a fight, especially at my event. Oh my goodness. And
It's a stain on GNA.
yeah. And you know, one thing that people have been pointing out online is that Ashley is playing the, like, I didn't even really see what happened. But when you look at the video, Ashley's right in the middle trying to break it up. So she was right there. But yeah, Crystal's like, no good. So now Candace arrives next. And she's like, well, we had successfully made it through the Sears fashion show. We had made it through the Sears fashion show, and I had partaken in all the festivities, and out of nowhere I look, and oh my God, it's Cookie Monster. And it says, do you have something you want to say to me? And I said, I don't speak to you. All of a sudden, the thing is lunging at me. Before I can even figure out what to do next, Kierna is fighting with it, and I don't even know how it got there. It literally happened so fast, and somehow it's all going to be my fault.
Yeah. So then, let's see. So then Wendy comes, and she's like, this event today feels so heavy because of what happened to Kay. So heavy. Okay, Wendy. Like, literally everybody else is fine.
They're all acting like they've had more than 2 conversations with Kierna the entire season. They're all like, poor Kierna. Poor Kierna. And just after she'd gotten over her diarrhea.
Yeah, one of my biggest regrets happened to my friend after she had trouble with diarrhea this season. It's very, very heavy, this event. Okay. And she goes, and I love that Wendy's always over dramatizing hospital visits. She goes, you know, I just don't know how we can kiki and haha when most of us just came home from a hospital at 4 a.m. just a few days ago. Oh, really?
Okay.
So going to a hospital 4 days ago to see somebody else who's fine has traumatized you.
She did not lose an arm. She did not lose an arm, okay? So Karen says, well, you know what? Deborah is actually mad with the wrong person. What she needs to be mad at was with herself, because she said that Chris was flirting with her, and we watched it, and he was not. I'm like, I'm not going to give Deborah really any credit for anything, but I will say, I think Deborah, if Deborah's going to be mad at anyone, she is mad at the right person because Candace has gone on and called her a Muppet on TV, and now we all call this woman a Muppet. So I think if she's going to be mad, I think she's mad at the right
Austin a Muppet
person.
for years. Listen, we coined Austin as a Muppet. You used to post pictures of him as Fozzie Bear. And then someone on Southern Charm picked up on it, and now everybody in the world calls him Muppet. Do you need to get punched in the face next time somebody sees you out? No.
No, I'm not saying that any of this was deserved, but I'm just saying Karen's logic, she's mad at the wrong person. I'm like, no, I think... does she deserve to be this mad, or should she have started a fight? No. But if she is going to be mad, I think, Candace is the one she would be mad at.
Yeah, she chose the right person. Yeah, she was
Candace is
aiming.
the one.
Her aim was bad, but she was trying to aim at the right person.
She didn't use that anger in a productive or good way, but,
Okay, yeah, I see. So then Candace has a good read. She's like, no, I mean, she's going to be mad at me because that's how she elevates herself and gets herself a job on TV.
Exactly.
Duh. And so Wendy's like, I have a lot of questions for Ashley. Oh, good. Do we get to do it for your fucking YouTube show? Here's the thing about Wendy, okay? I used to really like Wendy. Wendy is just, this is a criticism I've had, I think, for the whole season, and not just Wendy, but especially Wendy. You're just not fun. You're just not fun. You're just not fun. It's not fun shade. It's just, and then in the end, when all this stuff is happening with Mia and Gordon, and Mia's just sitting there laughing at the camera, it's just like a not fun. It's just a gross energy. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm over it. And I keep checking the Instagram to see if to see if Wendy is next on the announcement train today.
Well, I can't help but feel that, it sucks for Kierna that she got 12 stitches or whatever. That sucks. It's so not right. It's fucked up. Deborah is 100% wrong. 100% wrong in this situation.
And did I just turn on Pornhub? Because I sense a butt coming.
No, there's no butt.
Oh.
That's funny, though.
Like a butt was here. Oh, we can't even get
phrase.
Pornhub in Texas now. Thanks a lot, Texas. You're really just killing it over here.
Really? They blocked Pornhub?
They passed some stupid law, so now all the porn sites are shutting down in Texas because Texas passed some law where they can sue you because your kid saw porn or something. I don't even know.
I thought the right wing was all about free speech these days.
No. They're about paid porn, I'll tell you that much.
So anyway, what I was going to say is it's terrible what happened to Kierna. The cast members, like Wendy, is truly acting like Kierna lost all her limbs and, has been in a coma for 4 months. And so it's like it sucks what happened to Kierna, but also I guarantee you go home and then you start to move on with your life. You're like, okay, she's better. Great. And honestly, I feel like on a different franchise, we might see people being like, can you believe what happened to Kierna? That is wild. Oh my God, that fight. And I feel like what happens with these fights is, especially on this show, the fights get used as leverage against other cast members to either prove points, maybe try to get them off the show. So because of that, they have to impart a huge amount of seriousness to what happened. And obviously violence and fighting is not good. It's not the answer. And it is serious. Someone really could have gotten hurt and everything. And I'm also keenly aware that there are a lot of other issues that circle around a fight on this show versus a fight on the real world, right? There's different stuff that goes on, stuff that has to do with our society, and yada, yada, yada. But what I am also adding is that I do feel like Wendy coming in and saying I just feel like there's a heaviness in the air is also
you are the
maybe
heaviness in the air. You are literally the smog.
It's I think leaning into that a bit to sort of weaponize the fight against your, who you want to get off the show. And I'm not saying it's not just Wendy. It's everyone's doing it. Everyone wants to sort of be like, this was such a serious, terrible thing, which is why so-and-so should be fired, right? I feel like that's what the vibe is.
Yeah, but also it's just already happened on this show, so it's not as impactful. You know what I mean? It's happened, and it's happened with people that we actually care about as an audience, not Deborah and some new girl. You know what I mean? So sorry, it's just not gonna land the same. And Wendy, this is just not an opportunity for you to have a summit where we all need to listen to you lecture the cast. You know what I mean? Which it's going to turn into. And it's not just Wendy, it's Karen too. But at least Karen does it in a fun way. That's the difference. Yeah. Karen fun, Wendy not fun. What can I tell you? Karen is offense. Wendy is not offense. let's see here. What are
So
we
Nneka
talking about?
arrives.
I'm not even making any sense at this point. I'm sorry.
Nneka arrives and she's like, Shasha, what happened to your foot? She goes, oh, it's from the other night. I was trying to break up some stuff and I got pushed aside to the couch. And by the time I got up from the couch, they were on the floor. And the point is this. If you'd like to donate to the GoFundMe for my big toe, you can go to www.saveshashastoenail.com. Thank you.
Champagne. Shasha. Now they're talking about how Robin checked on Kay because she's such a good person. And then Charisse pulls Candace aside and she's like, listen, that was mayhem. You know, you're better than that, Candace. She goes, yes, I am. She's like, but really, for her, come on, Candace, you're so talented. And we've had this conversation 1,000 times. Thankfully, next time we have it, it's going to be on circular chairs in the champagne room. Now, what were you going to do with that bottle? Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
What were you going to do with that bottle? And how comfortable are you on a hoverboard? Do you think you could still hold a champagne bottle while on a hoverboard? I need to know for production for upcoming podcast episode.
And Candace is like, well, if she had come after me, I needed to protect myself. So I had the champagne bottle. And she's like, yeah, but you would have gone to jail because that's illegal. Because Candace is like, not if she touched me first. And she's like, so what are you going to, I mean, come on. So then.
You still would have been in jail. It still would have been a bad luck for your music career.
Well, yeah, to pop somebody over the head with a champagne bottle. So Candace, Ashley's like, you know, when Candace picked up that bottle, it surprised me because, you know, I mean, Candace is not going to do it, right? But I don't think she's going to do anything. But at the same time, here comes Ashley. Here she comes, guys, in case you were worried she wasn't clocking in. She's like, but at the same time, it's not really a good look for you to have a champagne bottle in your hand. Like, oh my gosh, come on. Like, it looks like you're going to do something. And, you know, it's the second time with her. It's not like it's the first time. Here she comes. I knew she was going to come.
It's also the second time for Deborah. Second time for Deborah being a disaster. You know, Ashley, if you're so concerned about people not thinking through their actions, maybe you should look at yourself and who you invite to parties.
Right. Or the fact that you had a second child with Michael.
When all else fails, remember who you've had sex with.
You want to talk about doing stupid things twice. There's one.
I know. So Candace is like, well, thank you for your motherly instincts, which is my very polite way of saying you're older than me, so stop passing judgment on my champagne bottle. Sorry about your foot. I hope you get pampered for the next 6 months.
Yeah. And she's like, please don't tell my mom I broke your foot. Thanks. So then
Nneka's saying hi. Now Nneka's saying hi to people because still saying hi on this show. And
we're still saying hi an hour later.
And now the Grand Dame. Karen's like,
Everyone, please come over to the table. We need to discuss things. Fence. The fence is calling for a summit.
so they come over and she's like, Ashley, thank you for walking over here. And Shasha, thank you for limping over here. And Wendy's like, okay, I'll even say this. Thank you both for coming over. Which, by the way, the way that they were so appreciative that they came over to the table, it makes me wonder just how divided is this cast. I mean, they're acting like it's shocking that they all stood around a table together. Like, are they really so separated when they're shooting that this is like, is it a situation where the only time we see them all together a lot, is it that the producers are like, you guys must shoot together, and when the producers are not saying that, they just go into their own corners? Because their reaction is they're like so impressed that they all just like stood around a high top. Makes me think that this cast is far more divided than we even realized.
They're pretty divided. I mean, it's been rough. But yeah, now's the everybody must apologize. And I think this is what they were trying to recreate that meeting they had after the Monique issue, the Monique and Candace issue. And they're trying to recreate that. It just doesn't have the same gravity, and no one needs to like sit there and be lectured. But they try it. And Ashley, to her credit, because Ashley is a mess, and she did start all this and does it all the time. But Ashley, to her credit, really didn't try to justify anything. She was just like, Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in danger. I did put you in danger. That was not cool of me. I shouldn't have had her there. And I'm sorry. She didn't start with the whole, but Candace, your mouth. And Candace, you need to realize I'm going to write a witness statement for Deborah. It was none of that, which to her credit, because she could have gone that way.
Yeah.
And Wendy's like, well, I don't think any of us should be held accountable for what our friends do. However, Candace did say, get away from me. And I'll give credits to myself and Kay and Neka, who came around from the table and said, let's not do this here. Thank you. We are all credited. We are good people. And Ashley's like, oh, okay, well, in hindsight, I wouldn't have invited Deborah because now I know that she's going to fucking try to beat somebody up. But,
You know, by the way, I was just thinking about what you were saying about how this meeting did not have gravitas for you. And it didn't for me either, but I'm not sure that it was actually intended to have gravitas. I think this was basically Karen's way of saying, okay, everyone, we're not allowing randoms into this group like this, okay? Like, if you have an issue, like, you know what? Like these, like the scraps, the wannabes, we're not allowing that, okay? So this ends here. So I think that when it was with Monique, it was a discussion about like, we have an image to uphold, or we've come so far, and it got into the whole respectability politics, which is, you know, was a whole thing. And I think this one was more like, yeah. Not doing this again. Okay, we got to stop with these extras.
Well, to that, I would say you're correct, but they're called Friends of, and they were brought in because this has been a dire season, and they needed something in the season finale, which I need a producer to come in and lecture all of your asses about that, because you all caused this by doing nothing all season.
Also, the past like 30 minutes of airtime really could have been substituted for NECA just saying this, because I think NECA just lays it out perfectly. And it's like, this is all that needs to be said in my mind, where she says, I feel like Ashley is, well, I wouldn't say this part. Not that Ashley is not to blame. I think Ashley's to blame too. But she goes, I feel like Deborah is dead ass wrong for throwing a drink at all. And I also think she was wrong for getting up and going over there. She should have stayed with her friends, had a good time. And what would have upset them even more was her ignoring them and being a bad bitch. And that's true. That's really like if they were talking shit about her, Deborah should have just been a bad bitch, and that would have driven Candace and Wendy nuts. But she lost. Deborah, you lost.
Yeah. So then Mia gives kind of her speech. You know, basically this is, everybody's like, okay, we agree. Ashley apologizes and apologizes and apologizes and apologizes, and they let it go. And they're like, we are women. This is a sisterhood. And we are sisters in a sisterhood. And she just, you know, does all of Dr. Simone's lines from Married to Medicine over and over, which, by the way, also had its final reunion. And it was literally 3 hours of Simone going, we are a sisterhood of sisters. I will not take it. She would like lay into somebody. She would lay into somebody, and then the next 2 minutes go, this is a sisterhood. I was like, well, which is it? For Christ's sake. But anyway, sorry. She does all Simone's lines, and then Mia gives a speech. She's like, thank you, everybody, for coming to celebrate this iconic moment with us. I can't believe I was only introduced to Will 3 short months ago, and look how far we've come now. Giant pictures. Giant pictures, everybody.
So she gives a speech, and there's this like gentle, nice jazz music playing. And she thanks everyone, and she's like, I just like want to do something that was impactful, so I thought, let's dress Robin up like Mariah Carey. And we did it. Yay, Joe. We did it, Joe. So as she's saying this, and she's like complimenting the women, we get our the season ending updates, you know? And what was weird was that she was giving her speech, and then we'd see like a freeze frame of the icon that they were representing in their photo, and then on the right side of the screen would be sort of them in slow-mo smiling and
so weird,
like sort of like mugging for the camera. So we have, Candace. Candace has been recording new music and plans to shop it to her major label, but she's still focusing on heating up her career before she takes her embryos off of ice. And then Wendy. Wendy has self-released her talk show, The Dr. Wendy Show, on her YouTube channel, and she's hoping that this new venture is the one that finally sticks.
Robin signed a lease for Glow 30. And Karen is renovating the Surrey house for history. It's a historical home, or possibly a completely new structure. Possibly a pool, maybe a mailbox. We don't know.
Tourism. So now this music is like playing like do 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 do, and Giselle's smiling, and it's like Giselle officially launched her GNA clothing line with Ashley. Sadly, her father Curtis passed away shortly after his surgery. I was like, well, you can't just like drop that in the middle of this like happy Giselle's smiling montage, and then we just move on to NECA's IUI procedure was unsuccessful. Like that's like. I don't know. It was like it just represents the tonal inconsistency of it all to me. Just represented.
Well, the whole thing of them just doing that like slow motion modeling into the camera and twirling around was just so low budge and weird. It was weird. And then Ashley is still dating, but they're not divorced yet. So then Gordon, of course, can't just let his wife have a fucking moment, dude. I mean, my God, he's like, I also have to speak. Here's what I have to say. Damn, Gordon. He's like, thanks for supporting my wife. She's a real role model, isn't she, guys?
And then he said she's a real role model. And then the screen freezes. And in the corner, they show like a little cutout or bubble almost of Mia welcoming everyone to the joint. And then he's like, she's an absolutely wonderful mother. And like they show another thing. It was like such janky editing. It was like, which intern did they allow to control this show? I'm like, why? What is happening with this show? It not only has presented storylines poorly, it is now actually just presenting our actual visuals poorly. It was, I think, is this trying to be funny? Is it trying to be thoughtful? What is it trying to do in this moment? Why has this show gone so far off the rails?
I don't know. But then the season ends. But did it? Now it's time for the Mia and Gordon scandal.
The cameras pick back up again. So,
Scandamia.
Scandamia.
The Mia ball.
Mia ball.
The Mia
Scandorton. So, after 11 years of marriage, Gordon and Mia split. So Mia's in her confessional saying,
I'm sorry. I'm just it's a lot. It's a lot to talk about right now.
Doing her fake tears, pretending like she's actually emotional about this.
Yeah. And we see who's really going through it is Gordon. And we know because he's very upset when he accepts his DoorDash delivery. So he gets a DoorDash and he's like, are we good? To the DoorDash guy. Which I was like, wow, poor Gordon. Don't take it out on the DoorDash guy, But I like that he just wants validation from whoever just brought him his Wendy's. He's like, are we good? Or are you leaving me too? Go ahead, get on the elevator. I don't fucking care anymore.
Oh my God, Gordon, it's the Wendy's guy. Give him a fucking break.
NECA tells a story about how Gordon reached out in a group text that the men had and said he was trying to get in contact with their wives to tell them about the stuff that's going on with Mia. But like everyone's like, what are you talking about, Gordon? And then
this is
our
when
call
Eddie
occurred.
Eddie and Wendy are doing a confessional. And this is when Wendy's kind of smirking about it. And I'm like, I get that you don't like her, but geez, fake it for 2 seconds. Jesus Christ.
And we're seeing footage like this is 48 hours or Dateline. It's like we see a footage of like a cell phone on a table that's receiving like a FaceTime call.
And Eddie's kind of hinting at what this is about, but nobody actually just says it, which is, a problem because this is a TV show and I don't need your hints. I need you to tell me what the fuck the text said. What is the text? The text came in and it suggested that he was trying to frame Mia. Was he trying to frame her? Was he trying to get information on her to use against her in court? What was he doing? Because that's what they're hinting at, but they don't actually say it.
because they don't realize just how messy Gordon and Mia are. They're actually trying to be like somewhat discreet out of respect for their family or whatever, not realizing that Gordon and Mia are about to shoot a scene where they just put everything out on the table.
Right. So that's basically what happened. So we start talking about what happened. Mia says that what really started this was when Gordon saw the season 8 trailer, which featured Ashley saying, "Are you married to your husband for money?" And Mia saying, "Well, maybe." And that's when Gordon...
Who would have thought? That was literally the worst trailer that has ever come out for Real Housewives. And I was like, this is such a terrible trailer.
The only person that got a rise out of was Gordon.
No, it was actually the most productive trailer of all.
Remember, they were walking past the parachute sheets in slow motion. I will never forget that trailer. We were like, what the fuck? What are they in the outdoor mall slow motion dressed to the nines? That was the craziest trailer.
It was like a fake TV sitcom trailer. Nothing made sense. It didn't show anything interesting happening in the season, which now makes sense because nothing did happen that was interesting. But I was like, what is this? But lo and behold, it moved the needle for one person.
Gordon. So, so they talk about this stuff. Basically, she says that really set him off. And this is where I just loved all this because Mia did not try to hide anything the whole season. You know, she's like, yeah, basically fucked a guy for... But also, Gordon, why are you so surprised that she married you for her money? You were paying her $10,000 an hour for her time. And what is she supposed to be attracted to, Gordon? Is it your nuts dragging on the ground? What do you think it is about a 70-something-year-old man or a 60-something at that time that just you think that, man, this is the thing with men, to have the confidence of a straight male, you know? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to behold. I'm sorry. I'll stop talking now.
No,
Please
I was going to say, he really thought that she fell in love with him for his chiropractic administration skills. And, I think that he didn't realize it was because of that sweet, sweet, sweet joint franchise money that he had.
Yeah. So then now we're in the kitchen again, and she's like,
So are we going to talk about this, Gordon, or are you just going to keep taking this out on Wendy's delivery people? Okay? How long do I have to sleep in Juju's room? Okay? When are you going back to Charlotte?
And he goes, well, if you don't want me here, then you could just say you don't want me here, and I'll just go back to Charlotte. But you said you wanted me here to take care of the kids. So here I am, taking care of the kids. But if you have a way to get the kids childcare, that would be great. Just let me know. It's like, oh, you tell her, Gordon. It's like, you listen here. I'm only here to do your babysitting. It's not that it's babysitting when they're your kids. I've just never heard a husband be like, oh, really? Well, I'm just here to take care of the kids, and then I'll be gone whenever you'd like.
So then he's like, you asked for this, and I don't think you thought this through well enough to think about all the unintended consequences, like having to sleep in Juju's room. So this is one of them, and I've known you've been having an affair for 10 years or longer, and I know you had an affair just before we got married. You tell me how it looks to a married woman going to live with a single man in a 5-bedroom, so sleep in Juju's room.
So that's all he cares about. This guy's a piece of fucking work. By the way, I know that Mia's wrong here, but still, this guy's known. They have an open relationship, and now he's going to yell at her for all of this because she got caught in public or whatever, or bragging.
Well, I think it's more like, I've been incredibly flexible with you. I've looked the other way. You can get some booty with someone else, and that's fine. But then you're gonna just go onto TV and just kind of talk shit about me. No. I've been so generous with you. Look, I even let you sleep in the master bedroom once in a while. But I don't think that Mia is an angel in this situation at all.
No, I don't either. And look, I'm saying Mia's wrong, but it's still just what cracks me up is just the arrogance of the guy.
Also, he should just maybe rather than displace the mother of your children into your child's room, just hire a nanny and don't come all the way up from Charlotte. I don't know. So
was he married when they met?
I think so. I don't know. Mia's stories are so slippery because, again, she just lies. So it's hard to really remember everything, but I'm pretty sure he was married to the joint. He was married to a spine and brochures. So yeah, he's like, you tell me how it looks. A married woman going to live with a single man in a 5-bedroom apartment. And she goes, I wasn't living with him. He's like, bullshit. The kids told me. She goes,
Yeah, well, he wasn't even there half the time. He works in 17 different cities, like always on the road.
Yeah.
17 different
Are you
cities.
taking your kids over there to live with? Oh my God, this is so bad. Because of course I want to keep standing up for me, and then it just gets worse. So she's like, he's like, well, the kids were telling me, and they're saying you're sleeping with him, and you're saying you're not sleeping with him. And Jeremiah even said, I saw mommy sleeping with Mr. Ink. Now, this is just a side note. I thought Ink was INK. And it's not. It's Incorporated. I love how business-minded Mia is, that she's even fucking a guy named Incorporated. I mean, that's like...
yeah.
Who's next?
like,
LLC?
Gordon.
She's got them lined up.
I appreciate that you were an LLC, but right these days I'm really looking more for an S corp or better.
If you want me to know that you're serious, just please, notary, please commit.
So the producer's like, well, would you mind telling us about Mr. Ink's history? And she goes,
Okay, first, he doesn't want to be called that. We can start there. His name is just Ink, not Mr. Ink.
I'm like, okay, I'm so glad we got that settled. And then every time she says his name, they bleep it out, but she is allowed to say Ink, and they literally show his face. So I'm like, why? Like, what is going on with this? Like,
Because I think
semi-discretion.
I think what they're saying, I think they're saying his name. They're not saying Mr. Ink. I think they're saying like, so what do you think of Joseph? And she's like, we can't call him Joseph. He's branded as Mr. Ink. Like, he's fine with you guys talking about him on the show.
But she's
he
the one
doesn't
who
want
says
his real
his
name
name
out there.
Wow. So
That's how I
anyway,
took it.
do not mess with his brand.
I'm like, your brand is INC Incorporated. Like, I hate to break it to you, but that might be a hard brand to look
It's
up.
rough to Google. It's a rough Google.
It's not the first company to have ink in their name. It's kind of part of what ink stands for. Okay, so she says, like,
That's all he asked.
can you believe that? He's like, this guy said, all right, baby, you can talk about our affair. Just please don't mess up my brand.
Don't mess with my stage name. I mean, that is so somebody fucking a Real Housewife right there. So then Gordon's like, look, I had prostate cancer and I knew that my organs weren't working right. And that's why I said you could do what you wanted. But there's 2 rules. Be discreet and don't get the kids involved. And in this case, you got the kids involved while not being discreet. What the fuck? And then I look at your phone bill and you're talking to him. Not only are you going to fuck him, you're talking to him the whole car ride over, all the way until you're in the garage. I was like, well, that shows some restraint that she doesn't come in talking to him while she's like taking off her shoes. Come on, give the woman a break.
He's like, and you also fed the gremlins after midnight, and I think you got one of them wet.
Well, it's hard.
So he says, Juju asked me, Dad, why is Mommy trying to replace you with Mr. Ink? I mean, this is so bad. By the way, the backstory with Mr. Ink, or Ink, sorry, brand issue there, is that they were high school sweethearts. And he was like, and she was sleeping with him when she first got married to Gordon, and Gordon knew this, but they had counseling and she moved on from it. It's like so wild. So Mia's like,
I mean, honestly, Gordon, if you gave me your blessing, why are you upset right now?
And he's like, because you're throwing it in my face and you took the kids to his house. I mean, well, Mia, Jesus. So in Mia's mind, it seems to just be like, okay, that's your daddy who we're married to for stability and because you guys love him. And this is Ink, who we love. And they're both in your life. It's like she's having her own kind of big love over there, Mm-hmm. It's like she's having her own multiple marriage, which, I say more power to you if you can get away with it, It seems like a lot of trouble. I can't even keep one, but, you do you. So the producer asks her when they started rekindling their romance, and she's like, well, it's when I noticed Gordon was not being himself. It's when Gordon went broke. Why are we trying to pretend this is anything other than, okay, the guy I married for his money now no longer has money, and I'm sick of this shit.
There's 100% that. Sorry, I just got a call that my security alarm went off in my house. So I might be getting robbed at this moment. And who knows? Maybe it's Mia. Who knows?
Does it ever go off on accident or by accident?
It does. It drives me nuts. But it's always very disconcerting.
Do you have cameras in there or anything? Asking for a friend.
I've got a Ring cam outside. I'll check it. I'll check it after the podcast. I mean, what can I do? I mean, if there's robbers in there, there's robbers in there.
Well, that's
Enjoy some board games.
Still gonna come back. Someone's like, I own all the wool in town.
It's like, how did you get into the board game hobby? Well, I robbed someone, and I was like, I might as well try this board game that I stole. Anyway, what were we saying before I got robbed?
The robbery took place. So she says she started seeing ink again when Gordon was not himself, and she doesn't know if she wants to leave Gordon. And she's been open with Gordon this whole time. He's known about everything. And so Gordon's like, I took your phone for 2 hours because you were talking to that guy. And then you got mad at me and went off to Atlanta. And she goes, yeah, because you took my phone and then locked me in a room. The fuck is going on in this house?
This is not a functional relationship. And he goes, well, wait a minute. I said for 2 hours, you can have it back. Get some rest. That's what I locked you in your room so you could have rest. And then I was going to give you your phone back. She goes,
Gordon, you're not my dad. Who does that?
and he goes, well, let me finish. And he goes, no, but there's no let's pause there. And so he's like, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. So
you can't even lock a woman in a room anymore. I mean, Jesus Christ.
She's like, no. You took my phone. You locked me in a room. And he's like, no, this is unproductive. It's a waste of time. You just can't help yourself. I try and cooperate. I said, look, you want to film me locking Mia in a room? I will do that. But now look at the generosity you've exploited.
So the producer says, but the open relationship, did that just not include Ink? And he goes, no, because he's there trying to break up our marriage. Well, Ink could probably say you were trying to break up his relationship since high school, Gordon. I mean, really, just to play devil's adv. And she's like, she told me he was my safe zone and that he's her soulmate. She told me this, and now she's denying it. Where are my keys? Where are my keys? What are you so obsessed with locks about? Stop.
Gordon, some of this is on you. If you just got married to someone and they say that someone else is their soulmate and they're also sleeping together, you have to reevaluate what you want out of this relationship. I mean, it sounds like maybe in the beginning he was like, you know what? I don't care because I like this. I want a hot thing on my arm. She wants the money. She can do what she wants, but I like this lifestyle. But now it looks like he kind of like forgot what the rules of the arrangement were. So either you follow the arrangement or you just move on to someone who actually wants to be with you.
Now, I get that she's going back on her part of the arrangement, right? Which is kind of flaunting it or not denying it or laughing about it or embarrassing him, whatever she's doing. I get that. But you're also going back on your part of the arrangement, which is staying rich. So you've both made mistakes here.
Yeah. This is what happens. This is the danger of these arrangements. They can fall apart very quickly.
Very, very.
So she's like, well,
Can we talk about the future? Can we talk about what we're going to do in the future?
and he goes like, no, not until we resolve these unresolved issues. No. And she goes,
Well, you're accusing me of being with someone. Didn't you think that, maybe if I was really with someone,
didn't you think that maybe if I was really with someone then? He goes, well, tell me, was it true? Why did Ink think that Jeremiah was his kid?
Yikes. Okay.
And so
then,
she
what
goes,
the
Gordon,
hell?
that's not fair. That's not fair.
And then he has his line, you want fair? Go to a carnival. Just stop lying.
So she tells us, I told him years ago, I said, I'm pregnant. And I also want you to know that in the timeline, this baby might not be yours. And he said, well, he loves me and he's going to raise the child as if it's his. And then the producer's like, and no paternity test was requested. And she's like, not that I know of.
By the way, real responsible just airing this out on TV. I'm sure Jeremiah will never hear this. This will never get back to him ever. And it's just casually on a national platform forever.
Sloppy. This is very, very, very sloppy. And Gordon's like, well, look, you suddenly started making a lot of money on this show, and then, you know, now you don't need me, you know, because you had access to capital or whatever. And I'm just telling the truth. Well, why are you going to shame her for making money? I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to be on either side. Like, look, I get that it's not great that she's out cheating and having babies with other men, but you know, you ordered a trophy and you knew what you got. Like, I cannot listen to you complain about it all these years later. Just stop.
No. So, it's like,
No, Gordon, not at all. Chill out with that. You're slandering me, and I'm the one that's transferring money to you. Make sure that you can eat.
and he's like, congratulations. He's like, congratulations, thank you. And she goes,
Oh, but I'm the gold digger, right? I'm married to you for your money, even though you're asking me for money.
I'm like, well, Mia, it doesn't really, that's not, gold digging does not necessarily mean like what the current financial situation is. It's like, what was it when you guys got together? Because if he was wealthy and you got together with him when he was wealthy and you were working at like a strip club and then he lost his money and now you're leaving him, yeah, that does actually kind of look like gold digging.
I'm sorry, but she was way richer than him. I don't know if you watch the show, but
I
she had a lot
apologize.
of money from an inheritance.
So
she's saying, listen, if I was leaving this marriage because of financial reasons, I would have left years ago. Because he was going out to strip clubs and spending an excessive amount of money, which also, like, I don't feel bad for you on that front either. Like, hello, where do you think he was going? You think he's going to suddenly start going to the library on Wednesday nights?
did you not remember where he found you?
So she's like, I was losing myself, and he started this whole fight with his family, and, you know, I told him to let go of this fight with his family because he is compounding it by not only going poor, but by going poorer by spending all their money on lawsuits that he's not going to win. Right?
Exactly.
Because she knows that they're guilty as hell from all of that stuff. And that's allegedly that they were spending money on the wrong things. And, you know, having the entire family over to their new rented house that they remodeled that they didn't even own with what money? You know, that family is, she knows they don't have a leg to stand on with that.
Yeah. And he goes, look, I'm perfectly willing to set all of this aside and move on for the sake of the kids. And she goes,
Remaining in a marriage with you?
he goes, you can frame it whatever way you want. I'm like, well, what else? How else would you frame it? So she goes,
I just feel like right now it's like really hard to answer that because like the only thing that I can think about is just like how much of a loose cannon you are.
And he goes, well, I don't think people think I'm a loose cannon. And she's like, well, you know, I just need more time. I can't just say I'm going to stay married to you. Let's just let things die down a little bit. And he goes, well, then stop fucking Joseph then, or whatever the guy's name is. And she's like, Gordon.
he's like, you just walked yourself right into a trap. He goes,
I didn't even know why you're bringing him up.
because you're screwing him. He goes,
Gordon!
you just told me 2 days ago you were screwing him. Mia, pick a story and stick with it.
And so she tells us, this life that I'm living is not the life that God intended for me. Okay.
God was like, I want this lady to be the first female president of the United States.
Whoops, sorry, ruined it.
God's like, here's what we call a glass ceiling, okay? I want her to find a man named Ink, and I want her to bust through it.
God's like, for this baby, you know what I want? I want them to be a successful owner of several joint franchises. That is my goal for this one.
So we hear a little bit more about Ink. She says that Ink has been such a good friend to her, and he's been really supportive of like ... my decisions. Yeah. Your decision to not marry him because he was poor and to go find a rich man instead and then marry that guy instead while you were getting the money from him and still fucking Ink. Yeah. Can I just say I fucking love Mia, and this is great casting. I mean, we've said it a million times, but you just can't find a Mia.
She is.
I almost said on every street corner. I didn't mean that, but I meant like
she's a total grifter. Total grifter.
There's not just a Mia in every casting call. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, we've been praising her grifting for a few years now, and this is just like the culmination of it.
And just the no shame in the game. Just how she's like, yeah, well, he's the true love of my life. And he loves me so much that he allowed me to marry some old man for his money, and he's still just there waiting for me. Yeah. And now he told me, I will be there for you. I will be here waiting for you when that old fucker falls over or leaves you for some younger model. And here we are. And he's still been waiting. He didn't marry anybody else. He's literally still waiting. And we're like, in my mind, I'm hearing the music from The Notebook playing. Like, this is the sweetest thing I've ever seen on The Housewives.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, she's basically in some sort of Jane Austen novel, right? Because those novels from the 19th century are all like, oh, sweet Elizabeth was promised to Mr. Rochester, which I know I'm mixing up.
We don't call her Jane. We call her LLC.
But it's always a story of a lady who is forced into a marriage with a wealthy man, but the real love of her life is out there in the farm or whatever, and then she can finally be liberated from the marriage and be with the man that she really wants. If you think about it, that's kind of I mean, Mia's just like a classic 19th century story. It just seems much less romantic when it's taking place in like the DC suburbs.
Yeah. So she's like, I just need a break, Gordon. And he's like, you're already gone. You've already given me separation papers. We're not living together. I knew it, and I made up my mind a long time ago. If a woman says they want to go, go. I'll just be here babysitting.
And then we see the previews for the reunion, and we see Mia FaceTiming with Ink, and then Gordon comes in, and Gordon's like waving at Ink like, hey, what's going on?
She's sitting on the couch. She goes, say hi to Ink. He's like, hey, Ink.
It barely makes any sense. So anyway, that was Potomac. What a wild ending to a mediocre at best season.
A two-parter on Potomac. I mean,
who'd have thought?
Who would have thunk it?
You know what? Here's the next season. Let's just look forward to next season. There's still an immense amount of raw talent on this cast. Let's get it back on track. We know this show can be great. So, you know what? We'll just write this one off as a loss, and we'll move forward. Thank you, everyone, for being here, for listening. We still
love you, show. We still love you.
We do. Of course we love you.
And we believe in you.
We believe in you. Shows go through hard times. They go through ruts. This is where we will be ready for next season, and we'll be ready with a great attitude. So everyone, thanks so much for being here, and we will catch you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.